Hello and welcome to Outsiders Weather and the Skeptics Ice Age Watch, where large parts of Patagonia are experiencing one of their cruelest winters of the last 20 years.
Sur de la Ruta 40. Estamos acá por la zona del Gutiérrez para que se ubiquen. Y así está, se ve la ruta y se lleva con todo.
Impressionante. Indeed, the Rio Negro government was forced to declare a state of emergency and an agricultural disaster, and hundreds of farting sheep had to be rescued from the catastrophic global warming.
¡Andaba rápido!
15 years ago, the Sydney Morning Herald breathlessly reported that Sydney was running out of water and out of time. Citing none other than Tim Flannery, the paper claimed, "There's only 2 years' water supply in Warragamba Dam." And they claimed, "Drought conditions will become permanent in Eastern Australia." They even said, "Drought is the wrong term. We've got to call it climate change." And then they predicted the water restrictions now in force in Sydney are never going to be lifted, just as Warragamba Dam is never again going to be full. Try telling that to the sodden residents of the beautiful Shoalhaven region who are assessing the damage of their properties after the region experienced its worst flooding in almost 30 years. And Sydney's Warragamba Dam is currently, let's just have a look, 99.3% full. Tim?
Even the rain that falls isn't actually going to fill our dams and our rivers.
And yes, Tim Flannery, by the way, is giving a speech in Queensland this weekend to lecture impressionable school kids about climate change. There you go, don't miss it. Still, climate lovies making total fools of themselves isn't just limited to Australia. Earlier this year, the BBC spent hours attacking us and blaming the supposedly unprecedented scale of our bushfires on, wait for it, the fact that we export coal.
What's happening in Australia is unprecedented. The bushfires have killed 18 people. They've killed close to 500 million animals. They're over twice as big as the Amazon forest fires, and they're exerting extreme political pressure on Prime Minister Scott Morrison. In just New South Wales in Australia, more than 4 million hectares have been burnt in the last 6 months. Australia is the world's third largest exporter of fossil fuels. You can see Russia, Saudi Arabia 1 and 2, Australia third, and the majority of those fossil fuel exports are coal.
Yes, fossil fuel indeed. So, were the fires unprecedented and was coal to blame? Well, no. Firstly, new research published in Nature magazine claims the area burnt during Australia's 2020 bushfire season was 24% less than was claimed by the government, according to satellite checking by scientists at the University of Tasmania. Good job. So, I guess 4 million hectares now becomes 3 million hectares. Keep that number in mind. Tragic and dreadful, yes, but unprecedented, no. As the Nature article says, nothing similar has been seen since at least the mid-19th century. Curious? Was there global warming back in the mid-19th century? The largest fire recorded in the temperate eucalyptus forest biome occurred, says the article, in 1851 and is estimated to have burnt 5 million hectares. So just to be clear, presumably with no arsonists, with no electrical wires or cables, with no cigarette butts, with no glass bottles magnifying the sun, with none of the many things that can contribute to fires, back in 1851, the fires were much bigger and much worse than they were this year. Speaking of climate change, as I occasionally do on this show, an exclusive poll conducted for Fortune magazine last week found that most Americans don't care about climate change anymore. They've had it. Climate change has dropped since December from first to second last on a list of a dozen issues troubling society. And a Gallup poll taken during July found climate change ranked last on a list of 16 other topical issues. But lovies, take heart. 57% of Americans polled said they would be willing to pay $1 a month extra on their electricity bills to combat climate change. That's $12 a year. They should come to Oz, where on average, the average Australian household pays roughly $1,000 a year in direct and indirect costs in support of renewables. Good news now from Greenland. Usually in the middle of August, which is midsummer, Greenland loses around 4 gigatons of snow and ice every day from what is called its surface mass balance, i.e. melting. But not last week. Last Monday, according to Electroverse, on August 10th, the Greenland ice sheet gained a record-smashing 4 gigatons of snow and ice in the middle of summer. I'm afraid so, dear. And record cold has also gripped far eastern Russia since the beginning of August. The early hours of Monday saw the mercury in Markova tumble to a frigid minus 1.1 degrees Celsius, a new record low for the day, pipping the previous record set in 1945, which was during the depths of a previous solar minimum, such as we're experiencing now. Furthermore, the town of Kurilsk set a new all-time minimum temperature for last Sunday, and in Khabarovsk, it's been an historically cold summer. And finally, on August 9th, Khabarovsk's Shanta Islands suffered a minimum of minus 0.9 degrees Celsius. It's summer, remember? A new daily record. Here's a typical young couple of global warming millennials arriving at their holiday shack in Khabarovsk to enjoy the scorching summer.